From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Saturday, April 29th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.22 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,268 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 1.9 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $1,325. Antiwar.com reports since Turkey's attack on Kurdish targets in both Syria and Iraq earlier this week, cross-border fire between the Turkish military and Syria's Kurdish YPG has been a near-constant reality along Turkey's southeast, with the military reporting 11 Kurdish terrorists killed again on Friday. The U.S. has been complaining that Turkey is attacking without proper coordination with their coalition partners, which is doubly concerning for the Pentagon because the U.S. forces are often embedded with the YPG in anti-Islamic State operations and other general training missions. Turkey's President Erdogan, however, insisted that the YPG fired first on Friday and that their strikes were simply retaliation over a serious mortar attack on their bases. Once again, however, there was no report of any Turkish military casualties in the attack. Turkey has long complained about U.S. military ties with the Kurds, complaining that they are all terrorists. The U.S. has heavily backed the Kurds against the Islamic State, however, and are increasingly concerned that Turkey's attempts to pick fights with the Kurds in both Iraq and Syria will seriously undermine the battle against the Islamic State. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports in his weekly address on Friday, President Donald Trump said his efforts so far have basically eclipsed those of any other U.S. administration in history. Trump marked the 100-day occasion, which comes Saturday, with the video message. He boasted, "I truly believe the first 100 days of my administration have been just about the most successful in this country's history," adding, "We're bringing back jobs. You ask the people of Michigan, you ask the people of Ohio, you ask the people of Pennsylvania. See what's happening." Those typically Democratic states all voted for Trump in November, lending substantially to his election night upset. Trump continued, "We are proud of what we are doing. In just 14 weeks, my administration has brought profound change to Washington. The most fundamental change can be found in the relationship between the people and their government. My administration is the first in the modern political era to confirm a new Supreme Court justice in the first 100 days. Perhaps the greatest change of all is the renewal of the American spirit." This week, the U.S. Senate approved the last of his high-profile cabinet appointments, which is a mix of conservative politicians and corporate leaders. The first confirmations occurred the same day Trump took office, January 20th, and the final department secretary was approved by the Senate on Wednesday. Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com. That's getcell411.com. Reuters reports hundreds of activists marched on Friday to the hilltop jail of Venezuela's best-known detained opposition leader, Leopoldo Lopez, in the latest of a month of protest against the socialist government. Security forces blocked access to the decrepit-looking jail next to a slum in Los Tecos, an hour's drive from the capital of Caracas, as the demonstrators shouted, "Leopoldo," and held signs reading, "No to dictatorship." This month's wave of protest against President Nicolas Maduro's government has led to at least 29 deaths in the worst unrest since 2014. Rallies championed by Lopez, who was then arrested and convicted of instigating violence. Venezuela's opposition is demanding elections, autonomy for the legislature where they have a majority, a humanitarian aid channel from abroad to alleviate the economic crisis, and freedom for more than 100 jailed anti-Maduro activists. Supporters say Lopez, the U.S.-educated leader of the hardline Popular Will Party, and others are political prisoners who symbolize Maduro's lurch into dictatorship. Maduro says all are behind bars for legitimate crimes and calls Lopez a violent hothead intent on promoting a coup. Government officials accused the opposition of inventing torture stories to sway international opinion against the Maduro government and create the conditions for a foreign intervention of the South American oil producer. The opposition coalition, which now enjoys majority support after long being in the shadow of Chavismo, especially during the 14-year rule of Chavez himself, is trying to keep the pressure on Maduro with daily protest. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.